Hey guys, yours truly, Jimmy Williams again. I'm back with another great and informative video. Hope you guys are having a good week. It's Friday and me and my wife are just relaxing. And this is not going to be an episode of the marriage episodes, the series that we were doing, or it's not going to be a DIY. This is like an update video. What we're going to do is me and the Queen are going to sit down and just kind of talk to you about some of the subjects that we're going to be bringing your attention to in the coming weeks ahead with future episodes, and probably within maybe 3 weeks, we'll have another DIY, Arlene's DIY episode. But we've been really excited about what we're doing, but we needed some downtime. Been really exhausted. I'm standing here in my kitchen, as you can see. Okay, and that little light there is a little bright there, but that's what we do to keep the good lighting. But anyway, we've just been really, like I said on the previous video, it's been a little tired for us. We had to get ourselves regenerated in our spirits and in our minds and just take a step back and relax a little bit. So we're just going to talk from our heart today and tell you some of the important topics I think we need to cover. If you're single or married, I think this stuff we're going to talk about is going to be explosive in your relationships going forward, okay? I normally barbecue on Friday, so after I help my wife, we want to sit down with her for a few minutes, I got to start barbecuing outside. I'm making what am I making, baby? Some burgers?
Yeah, you better make me a burger.
Okay, making some burgers, and I'm making some chicken. Let me just kind of show you guys what I'm doing here. That's my little small thing of hamburger. That's it. See, it's not big at all. Real small. But it's about 3 or 4 burgers for me and Arlene in here. 2 apiece, I guess. And then I'm going to barbecue this chicken. I got to cut it up. A little Publix chicken here. I got to chop it up and all that good stuff. And put a little bit of that Grace jerk seasoning. It's not the real jerk, but that's what we use. Got my stuff here just ready. See this? Ready to eat. I already cut up my lettuce and tomato. That's not lettuce, though. That's actually spinach, guys. We're just getting all healthy all of a sudden, thanks to her. And our little buns here.
Yum, spinach. Yum.
Right? So I'm going to bring you over here now. I'm going to sit this camera down. And if you guys want, you can go ahead and say hello to the Queen. She's right there.
Hi, guys.
Huh?
Today's Friday, so I'm casual Friday today, okay? Today's workout gear day.
Queen is gorgeous no matter how she looks, right? Ain't she pretty?
I'm in my Nike gear.
Yeah?
All the way.
Yes, Queen, you look good though.
Nike and my Adidas gear.
As you can see, I got on my little camouflage, and she got the camouflage pants on. She's hiding. Yeah. Are you hiding? Let her. Not right now. Okay.
Why do we have to be under the table?
I know, right? I know, right? Just being funny. Let me sit this down, guys, so we can kind of talk to you guys and see. Let's see here. How's that look? Is that good?
Looks good to me.
Does it?
Looks like directly in my face.
So I'm going to be sitting beside you. So there we go.
Please come sit next to me.
All right, awesome. I'm going to come sit down right now.
So I don't have to entertain them.
Yes. Do you have my envelope, honey? Oh, I have it over here.
Your envelope's over there.
Okay.
This is me entertaining you guys. So welcome to our kitchen. This is our kitchen, guys.
Yeah.
In case you've never been, like you've always been.
Yeah. My wife is extremely creative. This is our orchid. As you guys can see, I mean, like I said,
we don't have a name for the orchid.
Oh man.
I don't know why. What is it with naming everything in the house? Like, why does everything have to have a name?
That's you. That's you, Queen. You name everything. All this guy, she made it from scratch. I told you all in the previous video. This woman is such an artist. The Queen, artist, designer, whatever you want to call her. This is her. Love you, honey.
Love you back.
Let's get down into it. Let's get into it because they probably like, okay, y'all get on with it, right? Mm-hmm. Got my little list here, guys. I was just writing this stuff down on one of my bills that I got in the mail. I hate bills. You should too. But anyway, we want to bring your attention to a few topics that I think people, especially people who go to church and religious people, I got to put that out there, or people who are so overly spiritual sometimes. They don't want to deal with practicality in relationships, and these are things that it's almost like a big elephant's in a room. People want to run away from it, but I think you guys should know how me and Arlene deal with these things that's on this list here. Y'all ready for this? Okay. So I'm gonna say the first one. She'll say the second one, and vice versa. We got like 7 topics, and all these topics are going to be videos over the next couple of weeks. 3-4 weeks, right?
Yeah, we've been kind of MIA, for a little bit because like we had our own personal stuff, like we were working out, and like we figured we might as well like show our face. So
it's a good idea to show
accountability is good.
Yeah.
Accountability is good because we talk about that a lot. So.
Yes. So I'm going to start it off, okay? And this first one here, I think the men are going to be really happy about this first one. We're going to talk about the big 3-letter giant, S-E-X. Yes, I said it. Sex. Hello?
And intimacy.
No, let's leave intimacy out of this, okay?
No, let's not. At all.
Let me finish, because I'm talking from a man's perspective, okay?
Why men don't want to talk about intimacy?
Because we're very selfish and narcissistic. All we care about is sex. And that's
really?
Yes.
No, you don't. Not if you want sex.
So...
He knows. Trust me, he's saying it, but he knows.
All right. I thought it was going to be more serious, but this is so funny. Oh, gosh. But the first thing I'll say about that word is, me personally, I can't speak for all the men, I can't go 72 hours without sex. Okay? Again, it's an elephant in the room, because if you're very religious or spiritual, I'm like, oh, we can do without, right? Well, some men, I mean, Paul the Apostle, Shaul in the Bible said that,
First of all,
I gotta say this.
Can I say that if you say that you can go 72 hours without sex, we'll be at your house for the deliverance service.
Yeah, I know.
So send us your address.
Yes.
We come in with oil.
Right, but you can't cut me off like that, because I was going into the word.
Go ahead.
Nope. We can kiss later.
Okay.
But Paul was able to live alone, and without, you guys know him. He wrote most of the New Testament, and he was able to live without it. Live single. I don't know how he did it, but I'm not one of those guys. I gotta have it. I really, really do. He said, he can have a wife because he's an apostle. And he has that right, but he didn't have one. Okay, so all you preachers out there, all you tough guys, you want to sleep around, but you don't want to commit. You need to get committed to someone, because the Most High He created sex for us. Not for, when I say for us, for humans, not just for men, but we take that strong, like, man, that's something we really, really need. Right? And the women act like, well, we're good. My wife's like that sometimes, but truth is, she needs it too.
Yeah,
all right?
And I think we need to talk about that. Seriously, I do. I think we need to talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Because I think that we think that it's such an animalistic part of nature.
Really?
But I think marriage, it needs to be talked about. Because I think it's a very healthy part of marriage. And I think we need to talk about intimacy as a very healthy part of marriage. And I think you brought up the C word, which was commitment. Yeah. And I think that's the big 3, the SIC. It's the sick part of it. It's the sick part of it. Sick, man.
What? Sex, intimacy, and commitment.
Sex, intimacy, and commitment. Like, you gotta have all 3.
Okay.
Gotta have all 3.
Noted. So I can go into that and be on that all day long, but that's one of the videos we're going to make about sex, okay? Number 2, it's called In Sickness and in Health.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Wow. In sickness and in health.
How important that is in a relationship, right?
So yeah, that's actually something that we're going to actually reach out to a couple of our partners to kind of tackle that issue with us, and we're gonna reach out to a couple of our insurance partners that we want to kind of have on the show.
Oh, absolutely. Teresa Heschler.
Teresa Heschler. And we want to have another sister. Her name is Sister Tanya. That we want to also feature on the show, talking to us about insurance products.
Yeah, they're licensed insurance brokers, right?
They're licensed insurance brokers, and why this is so important is because, especially right now with what's going on with COVID, getting the jab, not getting the jab, in a marriage, that's something that needs to be talked about. Should you have a will? Should you leave a bill?
Exactly.
Should you write a GoFundMe? And especially in minority communities, it's not really discussed. My parents, unfortunately, it was a sloppy situation. My mom did the best that she could with what she had. His dad did the best he could with what he had.
Right.
As families, especially, I can only speak from the African American, Black American perspective. We do the best that we can, but we're not really prepared like we should be. And that's something that really needs to be talked about. You know, Black and brown communities,
right.
minority communities in general, we don't really do a good job in making our families prepared. And especially as a married couple,
right. Exactly.
That's something that needs to be talked about.
I agree.
In sickness and in health. And I mean, you know, not just the whole part with the will, the power of attorney, but just
exactly.
You know,
I agree.
What do I do if I have to deal with my husband who is in a wheelchair, or what does he do with me who, if I get a disability, what do I do? You
right.
know, so
right.
we want to talk about that.
Right, absolutely. And again, we're saying, you know, we respect all groups, and we're talking to all groups of people, no matter what background you're, white or black or anywhere in between, you know, all nations, right? Mm-hmm. But we're calling attention to our community right now, the Black community, because it's been really, nobody wants to talk about it and deal with it. And, you know, somebody passes away and there's a big bill, they can't afford to bury the person. I think it was a famous comedian, I'm not sure, I forget the name. He was very famous, but he died broke, and his wife was literally going crazy because she didn't have money to bury him. He died fairly young. He was like 55 years old. I gotta look up the name, but this just happened, and that was really sad that he economically he didn't have any, you know, he didn't have any assets where he could tap into if he wasn't here that she could tap into to bury him.
Yeah.
No insurance policy. You know, me and my wife both have life insurance policy through Teresa Heschel. We do, and that's very important. We got to talk about that, which brings me to my next point. We only got like another 10 minutes to talk to you guys because this goes fast. But money management. Okay, so that goes along with the insurance, because all that stuff's important, right?
Yeah.
But talk about that for a moment, honey. Money management.
Oh my God. So
we're gonna stay within 2 minutes because I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Like that's something you should talk about really before you walk down the aisle. Yeah. You know, a lot of couples, and especially in 2021, that needs to be a discussion like while you're dating.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
Don't wait till the end. Exactly. Yeah.
Because the problem is we wait until like we're in the middle of oh my God, how are we going to pay the mortgage? How are we going to pay the car note?
Absolutely.
To figure out, well, I didn't know that he didn't know how to balance a checkbook, or I didn't know that he didn't know about business, or I didn't know that, you know, he didn't know about saving money, or I didn't know what her spending habits were. Or I didn't know that he thought about eating us out of house and home and he, you know, like stuff like that needs to kind of be discussed beforehand.
Right.
You need to know about that person's upbringing. That's important.
Absolutely.
This is where culture kind of comes into play.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a big deal. I come from, I said it before, I come from a Jamaican background. I'm first generation here in the United States. My parents were Jamaican, so both of my parents were conservative, you know, and both of my parents were a little ultra conservative when it came to money. So, you know, you better make sure, like, you better eat every scrap of rice or food or whatever that was on that tray or that plate or whatever. Like, there was no leaving nothing behind.
That's right.
And, you know, a lot of families, and I mean, actually my family was middle class. So, I mean, you know, these are things that are in the money management category that need to be discussed. You know, there's psychological ramifications that kind of flow over into your marriage, and you don't know how much they affect you until.
Absolutely. I agree.
You know?
I agree. So, and when I met her back in 2009, you know, she was already well established, doing good for herself. And we're going to talk about it in another video, but I had to really respect her boundaries. No, just boundaries is the next one. But I had to respect her when it came to money, the way she did things, where she came from. And I had my own beliefs and the things that I saw. And I came from a poverty. My grandfather was my master mentor, so he had property and all that stuff. But my parents, which was my mother, that was, you know, my mother and my father, you know, they were fairly, I would say, poor. They didn't have very much, but they had enough to take care of us. But money management wasn't discussed. You know, they barely had 1 or 2 bank accounts, and my wife and I have 10. So, and we, you know, she knows where the money is. There's no secrets with me. Like just today alone, we was on the phone with someone trying to cash out on some tech stocks. You know, when I make investments, she knows everything I got. So if something were to happen to me today, there's a will that she gets everything. All right. And what's going on with the lighting here? The lighting just went out.
It's vice versa.
Yeah. Give me 1 second, guys. Go ahead. Keep talking, Lenny.
My husband is you know, that's him with the lighting. But I mean, you know, it's very important to us And this is the way that we have established it in our relationship. But every relationship is different.
That's correct.
You know, and these are the things that, you know, again, with boundaries, you know, at the beginning, you establish those kind of things. These are things that you have the discussions about at the very beginning. Like, you don't wait until it's like 2 to 3 years in and you're like, well, I didn't know that that's how you felt about that. You know, I mean, you have the discussions about the kids. Like, that could be a huge boundary for you. Like, you're the type of person who you probably must have a truckload of kids. Like, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect, but I mean, you know, like my husband and I, you know, we knew where we stood with kids when we first got married. My husband,
that wasn't a priority.
That wasn't really
we were like, you know what, we're going
priority.
to build our futures together, and if a kid comes, it comes, or he or she comes, you know, because it'd be a blessing from the Most High. But if it doesn't happen, we're not going to have Christ spilled milk over it, because, you know, we are in our 40s. I can't say how old she is, and I can say I'm 46, but, you know, she's.
I can say I'm somewhere nearby.
But we're not getting any younger, and so we had the same goals and visions and all that. So being equally yoked, according to the Word, is very, very important. So we're going to go to the next step, but before I do that, let me just reiterate the whole thing with the bank accounts. A lot of people divorce because somebody has a hidden account over here. That we highly advise that you guys get together and discuss that. Oh, I have a secret fund. Well, you can have the fund, but just tell the person about it. Like, we got bank accounts with BB&T, now Truist, right? We have bank accounts with who else? Navy Federal, and we have accounts with Wells Fargo. But Arlene knows exactly what I have, and I know exactly what she has. It's the transparency when it comes to the money. Okay, and so I'm just telling you guys, if you're hiding stuff, that's a no-no. We're going to discuss that. Number 4, boundaries. And Arlene kind of talked about boundaries already, but let's go to that. We got a minute or two into boundaries.
Well, we just talked about boundaries.
We did? What's number 4?
Yeah, we just talked about boundaries.
Okay, I missed it. I got to wake up here.
You just talked about boundaries.
Okay, go ahead.
The next one we're going to talk about is relatives and family.
Yep. That's a big one.
That's a big one. That's a big one because, you know, everyone has different values about when you get married. You know, you know, if you come from a blended family and you're coming in and, you know, you already have kids, or you don't have kids, or, you know, you're taking care of an elderly person, you're taking care of your mom, your dad, and you want your spouse to accept that person, that individual, or maybe you're coming from a very religious background and this person just has to accept this, you know, that's something that needs to be discussed beforehand.
You know, very good, but, you know, it's touchy for some people because, again, some of you when you're home and you go out and get married, you're really close to your mom and your dad, or somebody in that house that you were living with, so the other person comes in, the spouse comes in and say, hey, listen, I need more of your time, and I don't want you dealing with family members as much as you're supposed to be dealing with me. We're married now, right?
Exactly.
That could be very offensive to some people.
Exactly.
Well, we live by certain principles. Everybody may not live by those principles, but the Bible talks, and I always bring the Bible into this because I don't want to be all over the place. It says, you know, when Adam had Eve, not had Eve, but basically the father laid him down, put him to sleep. Took the rib, created Eve, woke him up. This is your wife, right? And then the scripture goes on to say, in more than one place in the Bible, how man, which is myself, a man should leave his mother and father, cleave to his wife, and they become one flesh. In other words, the sanctity of marriage, or, you know, people who are together, you know, it's them first, and then the other families after that. Some people don't have that belief. They think that, well, you know, he can be close to you, but I'm still your mother, or I'm still your father. That's great.
But I've got this real close relationship with my sister,
or I'm your sister,
or my uncle, or my cousin.
Could be anybody, right? Exactly.
You know,
right. That's right.
A quick testimony with me. You know, we had a lot of marital problems and attacks at the very beginning of our relationship when Jimmy told you guys about in another video, and part of that had to do with I spent a lot of time on the phone. And I was on the phone a lot with my mom, and there was nothing wrong as a woman venting and talking to your mom. But the thing is that when you now become bonded with your husband, you got to solidify that relationship with your husband. You can't be on the phone. You know, in other words, there's this covering process that's happening. So you can't be putting your husband out there. So your family's like, see, I told you he was like that.
I make a mistake and she tells them about it, but 2 days later she forgives me. Well, family don't forgive like that. So you got to make sure the intimate stuff or she has to cover me in this relationship.
There's got to be some covering.
Yeah, and I got to cover her. I don't want my mom calling me and saying, Arlene did this to you and blah blah blah, and I don't forgive her. Well, I love my mother, but my mother is not my wife. I'm not married to her, so I have to say, hey mom, that's my wife. But how? What I need to do is make sure I don't tell my mom any old thing about her.
Exactly.
I have to protect her and cover her.
Because
there's not a lot of that going on, guys. Y'all got to get back. Don't listen to all these people on Facebook and all these other folks. Oh, you're your own person, and not when you're married.
When you drive
right?
and leave those family members or those girlfriends, and
right.
you stop coming and talking to 50 people on whatever line or whatever, and you come home and you have to deal with a piece of your house, you gonna have to deal with a piece of your house in the piece of your house. So you better think about the sanctity of your house and how you listen. The woman sets the temperature.
Yes, you do.
So if you want to set the temperature right, you better learn how to set the temperature right and stop taking every advice from everybody.
Absolutely.
You better learn to be the temperature.
Wow, you a preacher now. Learn to be.
I didn't mean to do that, but anyway.
So guys, we might be the head of our homes according to the word, but the wife is running everything. They're like the next. They're running everything. They're running the show, right? This is their casa, and we're here to make sure they stay happy, right? And my domain is outside building and fishing and because we're gonna rebuild. We're gonna build. We're trying to rebuild our home and create our dream home here. I take care of all that, but everything inside of it, the designing and all that. Everything gets moved around it. You better okay it with her first. I
mean, when I got married,
right?
I stopped picking up the phone and I don't want to be talking to my single girlfriends. Like what?
They're sweet. But
they're sweet, and they're really nice. And I still, hey, how you doing, girl? But I mean, there's only but so much advice they can give me about me and my husband's relationship.
That's right.
I'm just being real.
Same here. And if you're a single man out there, listen, single or married, and you're in my life, there are still boundaries. Like there's certain things that you can do that I can't do. I can't go out, and I don't have that desire to go out, every Friday night and have a drink and all that. I'm home with my wife. But if you're single, you have that right? And if you're another married man, some other married men like to go out and do things if it's okay with their wife. But that may not be the same thing for me. Me and Arlene are together 24/7. So what works for other people doesn't work for us, and we make sure we stay in our lane. That's very important. Again, we can go on that all day, but again, we're going to make videos for each subject, okay? The last two, business or business owners, are how does marriage work with business, if you're an entrepreneur, and lastly, nutrition, how to take care of yourself in the marriage. If you're looking at a couple here, collectively, we've lost about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
We were 50 pounds heavier collectively.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, let's see. Yeah, easy. 50 to 60 pounds. And that's, we lost that due to nutrition. But let's talk about business first, though. Business, what do you want to say about, because we've got to close in like 2-3 minutes here, but let's talk about business for a moment.
So when we get into the business area, because everyone on Facebook knows that we're both collectively entrepreneurs.
Right.
And we own between the two of us about 8 to 10, 10 businesses now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and because of that, we're going to have a lot of guests joining us and interacting and doing a lot of cool stuff.
Absolutely.
So and we want to talk a lot about the whole marriage family balance because it's one thing. I mean, the thing is we don't have kids, but it's one thing to own businesses, but it's one thing to do it and juggle a healthy family marriage, and everyone sees us together and they're like, oh, you guys, listen, it's 13 years of marriage. Like, this is 13 years of work, guys.
We've been together 13 years.
You know what I mean?
Right?
You got to put in the work. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, yeah.
This is 13 years of work.
Right. We're just getting started, right?
Okay. We love each other very much.
Right.
But
we're just getting started, guys. Just to give you an idea.
I want you to understand and hear my heart. Whoever is listening to me, it's work.
It is.
It's work. It doesn't mean that it's not without its trials. It doesn't mean that we don't have issues. It's work.
It is.
So
it is.
And that means balancing the business and the relationship.
You heard that, guys? For entrepreneurs, we got to balance.
Because we're both very driven, so we have to know when to shut off. And that means I get checks from him. Honey, you've been working. Shut off the computer.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to check him. Jimmy, turn off the computer. You're working too hard.
Absolutely. I mean, it's. I hate to even say it's normal, but it's been normalized for us to go to bed anywhere between 3 and 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you guys know because we're on Facebook
exactly.
most of the time.
And we had a tremendous thing that happened in our business where, I had certain employees and I had to let them go and had to restructure and all that. So the work I was doing just myself as the owner and CEO, same thing with Arlene. Now we're doing CEO, owner. We're doing secretarial work. We still have a few employees, and then I'm the sales manager. So we have all these hats we're wearing in business. And if you're not careful, what happens is you get so caught up in that your spouse becomes secondary, and that should never happen.
Yeah.
Okay. The only person that your spouse should be secondary to is the Most High. Nobody else. Not your church, not your ministry, not your profession, not your boys, and all those things, and
not your kids.
Yeah. If they are, then you're not ready to be married. That's the cold hard truth, right?
Nope.
And so in business, it is a fine line because again, we're dealing with so many other people, and it's so easy to get out of whack with it and put her behind. I can't do that because she helped me build everything. Kings, your queen is there beside you, not behind you, to help you build what you have and maintain it. So we gotta honor them. We gotta honor our queens. Okay, we gotta do that. Lastly, nutrition. Go ahead. It's at the same time.
So as Jimmy said, collectively we lost about 50 pounds, and we are going to bring a special guest on for that.
Awesome.
We're going to bring a special guest. We're going to bring Ray Chambers on.
Her brother.
So if he is listening,
my best man at the wedding.
I need for you to be prepared, Mr. Chambers.
Mr. Chambers, get ready. We need you.
Yeah, we need you. Call in, Mr. Chambers. We need you.
He's our doctor away from our doctor. He's like,
this brother knows some stuff. So we're just putting him on Front Street right now because he knows some stuff.
He does.
Like he really gave us a lot of really good advice because we really needed some lifestyle changes.
We did.
He's actually my brother.
My brother.
So
DJ Raymond Chambers is DJ Sugar Ray. He's a very successful DJ out of New York City.
Yeah.
He was the best man at my wedding.
Yeah.
He told me, he said, Jimmy, I promise you, if anything happens to Arlene, I'm going to break your leg. I said,
he really did.
So what they let me know was he's a really good brother. He loves his sister. I said, yeah, something's going to happen to her. Good things, because I'm a good man.
Yeah.
But I respect you for doing. But not just that. He takes care of his own body.
Yeah.
He's a DJ, so they're up late, 2 or 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. So nutrition's important. Like he introduced me to a guy named Dr. Berg. So if you need someone who's really, I would say, licensed to really talk about health.
Yeah.
Dr. Berg, just Google him on. He's like 8 million subscribers, I think, on YouTube.
Who's that other guy that you listen to? You listen to someone else.
Yeah, the minister of health.
Or health.
Yeah, minister of wellness.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but
my God,
black guy,
good.
but Dr. Berg is a white guy.
He's more vegan.
More vegan, right.
Yeah.
Dr. Berg is more, not vegan. He just tells you what to do. But the other guy is vegan. You're right. So Dr. Berg is not vegan, but he talks about the vitamins and minerals you need, like potassium. You need 4,700 grams of potassium per day. Yeah. That's like 8 cups of vegetables. Or you need to have some supplements. Yeah. Vitamin D. You guys are, and we're done now, but if you have COVID or you're struggling with it, vitamin D3. This is what I learned, okay? You need about 20,000 units if you're sick with it. Because each unit, you buy the little tablets, are like 5,000 units. So you need to take like 4 of them per day. All right, my wife and I take plenty of vitamin. It's vitamin D3 because in the fall you don't have that much sun, so vitamin D3 helps you with blood pressure and all those things. What else I learned from Raymond, and I went and looked it up because when Raymond told me this, I went and looked it up. Raymond knows that. What else was it? Potassium. Potassium. Yeah. So potassium, you need to get the little tablets.
Yeah.
You take some of those. And lots of vitamin C. Like I would recommend between 1,000 and 1,500 grams.
Vitamin C,
liposoma.
Yeah. Specific. Yeah.
We take wheatgrass. We put that wheatgrass in our
electrolyte wheatgrass.
Right.
We're diehard green smoothie drinkers.
Oh man.
Or green juice drinkers every day.
Yes.
You're right. Like when I say every day, I mean
every day.
The fridge is packed with kale, mixed greens, and spinach at all times.
Right.
All times, organic. Right. Every time.
Yep.
Grass-fed.
Yep.
We don't play that. Grass-fed chicken.
That's
grass-fed beef. We don't play that.
We do intermittent fasting. I learned that from Dr. Berg and Raymond. So me and Arlene barely eat 1 to 2 meals per day.
Yeah.
That alone, guys, have eaten midday between 2 and 5 o'clock or something like that. You eat one time at 11 and one time at 5. That's going to help you by default. You're going to go into something called autophagy. I'm getting all into it now. When you stop eating, your body goes into autophagy, which means it starts healing itself overnight. When you start the fasting at 5 or 6, up until you eat the next day. But if you constantly snacking late at night, it doesn't go into autophagy. You know.
Save it for the nutrition.
But let me finish.
Okay.
Because somebody may not listen to anything else. I want them to get this.
That's true.
So intermittent fasting is important. One last thing I was going to say: the fatty liver. That's what helped me lose the 10 pounds I lost, 15 pounds. It means